Welcome everyone for joining our T200. Esther, over to you.
All right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to our third annual T200 International Women's Day celebration. And you are T200 members, you are men, women, leaders, allies, media, and hopefully all of you are here to learn more about how to forward the T200 organization and lift women in technology. We have a fantastic lineup of women speakers, leaders who will be joining us today. And to start things off, let me introduce our first speaker. Our first speaker has been a leader in technology for many organizations, a chief executive in areas such as operations, tech, and digital for large-scale organizations, including Kimberly-Clark, Common Spirit Health, Nestle, and others. She also is a board member on multiple organizations. And most importantly, she is the founder of the T200 platform. Please go ahead and welcome our first speaker, Suja Chandra.
Thank you. Thank you, Esther. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the T200 International Women's Day event. We have an exciting hour ahead of us. I will ground us on T200, why International Women's Day is such an appropriate day for us to celebrate both the day as well as T200. And then we have one of the very best, a CEO leading one of the largest tech services and human capital companies, Julie Sweet. We will have a fireside chat with her. Then you will hear from Ebony Lau, her experience and testimonial with T200. You will also get an opportunity to listen to our career committee, partnership and funds committee, as well as engagement committee. International Women's Day is celebrated all around the world. I'm today sitting in the city of Berlin, where International Women's Day is actually a holiday, which is the only city I'm aware of where it is a holiday. When women are celebrated, they do thrive. And this year's theme is Embrace Equity. We find numbers of women in general across various topics and professions improving, but not necessarily consistently. And in some spaces, we are going backward. In tech, the numbers are still about 27% tech leadership roles. The chief digital officers, tech officers, information officers are women. 10 to 11% of Fortune 500 CEOs are women, and about 15 to 16% of chief information security officers are women. When it comes to venture capital, it's somewhere between 15 and 20% of the check writers in venture capital are women. So these numbers still being where they are, and the International Women's Day's theme of Embrace Equity resonates and aligns with the fundamentals and the mission of T200. T200 is a community of women CXOs in tech, as well as aspiring leaders. Our members share our mission of fostering, celebrating, advancing women's leadership in tech. We are distinct in the fact that we are self-formed, self-managed, self-governed. We are agnostic to any other organization or vendors, with a simple and pure objective of developing women in P&L roles, digital, tech, cyber, product, data and AI, and software roles. We've been on a roadmap of consistent evolution and growth. Each year, our members strive to do more. The paths we take are strategies, the path we take are plural, but our objective to develop women in tech is singular. Our prime tier is exclusively C-level. Our lift tier was launched in the International Women's Day event in 2021. Some of you were part of that. Lift Plus is a level of C-1. We focus in elevating this group. They are ready. They are at the cusp of becoming C-levels. And then the rest of Lift is all the rest of women in tech at various levels. Our impact is measured in a 5C framework. We're a community, a membership-based community. Our engagement and members are fundamental to us and the spirit of community. We focus on ensuring our members have a currency. We believe cutting-edge technology knowledge and staying current is crucial to thrive and succeed in our roles, and we contribute to that. Careers, as we develop and help women scale their impacts, career has been a major focus. Camaraderie, friendships. It does get sometimes lonely at the top. So it's the friendships and the cheerleading and the spirit of the community and collaboration that pops out the camaraderie. And of course, we are about contributions. Our members give and receive. And we contribute in kind, in time, in various different ways. So this is our framework. And we are governed by a 7-member board. We registered ourselves as a 501c3 in 2021, late 2021. And we're governed in very structured, formal processes around board meetings. And the board comes together and works to set the strategy, direction, and oversight for T200. Our working and oversight committees is how we scale our remit. Our members partake in these committees and they all deliver, and you will have an opportunity to hear from some of them. With that said, I would like to welcome Julie Sweet, Chair and CEO of Accenture. She joined Accenture in 2010 and became CEO in 2019. She also became chairperson in 2021. We are super proud of you, Julie. Prior to that, she was Chief Executive Officer of Accenture's business in North America. And before that, she was General Counsel, Secretary, and Chief Compliance Officer. Julie also scales her impact through her board roles of the World Economic Forum, Catalyst, Center for Strategic International Studies, the Marriott Foundation for People with Disabilities, Bridges from School to Work. Julie has been recognized as one of Fortune's most powerful women in business and by Forbes as one of the world's 100 most powerful women. Julie, we celebrate you. We celebrate what you do. And thank you for joining us today. And I'll begin with the first question, Julie. We would love to hear about your journey. Well, first of all, welcome to T200. Welcome to International Women's Day. And maybe you can start us off. What was your journey like? We are all at awe of what you've accomplished, the impact you continue to make. You lead a company, and last time I checked, I believe Accenture's market cap was about 175 billion. And you employ 700,000 plus employees. You work with pretty much every company in the world, and all of us were customers of Accenture at some point or the other. We celebrate you. Share with us, did you plan your career? Or women would love to hear your journey. Julie, over to you.
Great. Well, thank you. First of all, I just want to say thank you for having me today. When Diane Schwartz of JCI, a woman in tech who I greatly admire, reached out, I was really excited. And I was excited because I'm quite passionate about women in tech, really for 2 reasons. First, because, I often talk about all strategies lead to technology. Technology jobs are absolutely critical in any companies, and we need more women in tech because these are increasingly the most powerful jobs in companies. And I truly believe that they become the stepping stone for other areas of the company, of the C-suite, because technology is such a core capability. And so I was really excited to get to be a part of T200's celebration because I think your organization is really important. The second reason is because when you go back to all strategies lead to technology, we need more diversity of thought in those who are leading technology. Technology can be used to solve many problems, to drive things, but it also needs to be done in a way that's responsible, that's creating value, that thinks about the whole effects when you think about things like AI. And I really believe that having more women in tech is going to get us to better answers and more innovative answers. And so I was really admire this organization and what you do. Now, I will say to you that I do feel a little bit like we talk about the imposter syndrome. I will say I am not a technologist. And I've learned a lot of technology, but just to give you a little bit of a flavor, when I joined Accenture, I joined as the general counsel. And about a week before I joined, I sent an email to my executive assistant and said, could you make this file? I'll explain my file. This was back in 2010. And in 2010, she sent me an email back and said, well, I haven't made a physical file in 7 years. It'll take me a week to order them from Staples. And oh, by the way, you have 3 file drawers. And so I called up my old law firm where I had left and I said, those 20 boxes of physical files, could you send them home? And then I called this guy that was a CIO and I'm like, he told me he was sending, like, I have a feeling this is why. And I, in 2010, decided that I was going to embrace technology as a general counsel. At the time, Accenture didn't really use video, and I became the first corporate function to have everybody have a camera. I still remember my first video call, and my hair was all crazy. And I share that story because one of the things I try to do around technology is to make sure that all women know, not those just trained as technology, that they can embrace technology and how important technology is for all jobs. And I feel like I'm a living, breathing example of that. And in fact, about 18 months after I started at Accenture, I recognized that to create value, I would have to really know tech, not just the legal issues, but what is tech? And I made friends with Bhaskar Ghosh, who was running our India business at the time, in tech business. And for every 2 weeks for about 18 months, we met and he taught me tech and he would give me assignments for other people. And that began what is now a lifelong learning. I'm still learning tech every single day. And, you know, as you think about your own careers and you think about what are the importance of my career, I do believe my commitment to learning has been really, really important. And then, you know, I had a woman director once talk to a group of women, and she said something that really resonated with me. She said, you must be fearless, but prepared. And so I feel like I have been fearless in many ways to leave my law firm as a partner, to join Accenture. And yet at every step of the way, I've also worked to be prepared and to learn, to make friends, to network for value. I talk about it, not just for new jobs, so that I could fulfill the commitments that I have as I take on these new roles. So that's part of the journey, I think, is that commitment to learning. And being fearless but prepared.
Love it, love it. So many golden nuggets you've shared right here. All roads lead to technology. Technologists are becoming, or technology roles are becoming some of the most powerful in the companies. And then your personal journey, fearless and prepared, continuous learning, commitment to learning. Lots of great golden nuggets, Jolie. So thank you so much. So women in technology. Accenture's undisputed leadership in technology and services. Let's all be clear about that. You are definitely a leader in many of the faculties, many of the elements that you focus on. How do you view women in tech in Accenture? And how do you, in the theme of today, as well as in general, it is amazing for you being the leader of Accenture. Maybe you can share with us some of the approaches that you take in Accenture about women in Accenture.
Well, so I wanted to start with, because many people don't know like the origin, because I hope you all know that we have a commitment to be reach gender parity by 2025. And since we're a technology company, that means, you know, it's the core of technology. But I think it's important to understand the why, right? So if you go back to 2013, we were, I believe, the first in our industry to say every business would be a digital business. And at that time, way less than 20% of our business was in digital, cloud, and security. When I joined in 2010 and I was interviewed by our then CEO, he said 2 things to me about our culture. He said, we're all about change. Check, something I always want to be able to say. But he said at the time, we are fast followers. Now, hopefully none of you would think of Accenture today as a fast follower. We had to totally change our culture and our people to be innovation led, because in 2013, if you're saying every business would be a digital business and less than 20% of our business, that meant we had to completely change the core. It was at that time we launched in January of 2014. We were the first in the industry to create a digital business. But that was when we internally, and then in 2015, externally, made the commitment to diversity. We'd always focused on it, and the bar was low. And in our industry, we're the leader pre that. But we said, as a part of our business strategy to become innovation-led, we had to be more diverse. And we started with women. But today, by no means is gender the only area. Race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, geographic, age, disability. But that's why, right? And I tell you that everywhere I go, I explain to boards and CEOs that the commitment to diversity, embracing equity, is a core part of succeeding as a business. And when you look at Accenture's undisputed success over that time period, an ability to rotate our entire business in 7 years to be more that when I took over at that point, it was 70% digital cloud and security. Few companies in the world can say they did that change. You cannot separate that from a commitment to diversity, which started with women. And the way we did that, I'm going to give you 3 practical tips depending on where you're at. Right. So the first was that we had to hire more women. And to do so, we put in place, and it was actually a couple of years down the line when we were really trying to dig deeper and be bigger, is we borrowed something from Intel, where at Accenture, we pay fees for referrals because we know that the best employees actually come from other referrals of people who are here. And so we used to pay, say, $6,000 for a referral to become a managing director that was successful. For those areas where we needed diversity, we went from $6,000 to $50,000. Right. And so we paid much higher for the areas of our business, which is totally legal, by the way, checked all those boxes. But it was about a very intentional plan because we had an issue, pipeline. Right? We wanted to hire, but we couldn't get pipeline. So this was a business priority. We came up with a solution for the problem. The second thing was that we actually looked and listened to what women wanted. We had an amazing program in India for master solution architects, and no women were going into it. So we said, okay, well, we're not going to assume it's because women don't want to do that. These are the most coveted accreditations at Accenture. And we looked at it and we asked women and we listened. Well, guess what? There wasn't a single woman teaching the program. Not a single one. And so you start to see, women saying, well, I don't know if I'm even welcome. Like if there isn't a woman even teaching it, right? There wasn't actual outreach. So listening and not assuming, right, was really, really important. And then changing the criteria. There weren't enough women, for example, in the US to go into technology. And so we would start to go to liberal arts colleges and then train ourselves. So these were just a few practical things. And I have so many more. And one of the things that I tell CEOs all the time who come to me, a lot of male CEOs, which is great, will talk to me about diversity. And I'm always like, do not reinvent the wheel, right? If you set it as a business priority, just like everything else, you run it like everything else in terms of data, responsible leaders, and then go out and get the best programs and ideas. That is how you will make progress faster.
Julie, love it, love it. The boldness of the vision of becoming a digital business and setting the bold goal on parity, gender parity by 2025. I think these are all role model behaviors from companies that we all can learn from. And also just the very simple tactical steps that you share. And I think you said 50,000 referral for the women. And I was thinking whether it's 15,000 or 50,000. That is whopping. And then not just the new hires, but also addressing. Very inspiring. Julie, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I want to shift gears slightly, but then come back to women. Accenture is a leading business in terms of anticipating workforce needs and workforce changes. You're a very large people company. And I know the metaverse and onboarding new employees, new hires on the metaverse, you're a leading company with Web 3.0 technologies. And when you couple that with some of the weirdity, the post-COVID weirdity that's happening, and then in specific to the workforce situations, the resignations, the reconsiderations, there seems to be a name for everything nowadays, but you seem to be well prepared for that. So I want to ask two questions on that. Just what are just some of the things others can learn by some of the things that you put in place, but also how can women be better prepared for the workforce changes that are happening, both in terms of their own careers as well as in their leadership roles? What can they do? Leading remotely is not easy. It's definitely takes much more extra steps. So it's a broad question, but it really comes from the angle of how I respect you and Accenture as somebody who really does a pretty good job on workforce topics.
Well, thank you. Again, I guess I would start with, we think of our people as being a business priority, and also that we have a commitment. When we bring people in, we have a very simple way of saying we think that someone coming to Accenture should be net better off for working here. And when I became the CEO and I laid out what are my leadership essentials to, what it takes to lead at Accenture, right after do the right thing is care for our people personally and professionally. And if you have that at your core as a business, that you care for people personally and professionally, so much flows from that. Everything from during COVID, being able to know that in India, we needed to provide special COVID benefits to extended family members because culturally so many families had in-laws living with them that didn't have the COVID benefits, and that you needed to care about what your people cared about in their particular situation, to the US where we have such limited childcare that we could, and the schools didn't stay open, that we needed to provide tailored benefits where we were subsidizing having people, in the home to help where we couldn't. All of those things are about caring for people, personally and professionally. I'm a breast cancer survivor. And one of the things that I did when I became the CEO of North America, people always think benefits are really boring. I don't think they're boring at all, because I thought about, what's one of the hardest points in your life is when you or a loved one are sick. And so we started providing second opinions through a digital means of accessing the best doctors in the country, so that our people who didn't happen to live next to one of the best, cancer centers in the country could access it, right? That makes benefits not boring. And that's about caring for people. So having that as a philosophy, being able to have a clear, like they're net better off, and then creating those things around it so that you're really listening to people. And then I would just finally say on this, and I'll talk about women, is, let's be data led. At Accenture, we use our own tool, Transformation GPS, that tells us and benchmarks where our people are in their transformation journey, because I'm doing a lot of transformation. We use the Gallup Q12 engagement, so I understand at a team level how our people are. And every year we have something called Conduct Counts, which is a survey that does everything from finding out if people are yelling at people to sexual harassment. That is a data-driven way of making sure that we are living our commitments to our people and we understand what they need. And then with respect to women, I might sort of lift it up for a moment and say that, one of the most important things that I think and by the way, this is men and women, but what you can do is to understand where you fit, what your role is and the why around it. And, and I started doing this when I was a young lawyer. I called it the why rule. And I would always want to understand, like, where did I fit into the business strategy? Why did a client say something? Why did my boss make a change? And you can put workforce in that as well. If you are understanding sort of what's the philosophy around what the company is doing, what role do I play, and therefore what makes sense for my team to do in terms of being in the office or not in the office, or in ways of working. If you tie it to the clarity of the role of you and your team into the bigger picture around the strategy and the value, then how you develop and manage your teams and your people at your companies should flow from that.
Thank you. Thank you, Julie. I was taking notes as you were speaking because there's so much to learn as you are sharing. We'll do one last question. I think we are up on your time, but we'll take one last question. So let's talk about women's careers. What can you advise? There's different philosophies, plan it and be very methodical about it is one philosophy. No, do your best and then the right opportunities will come is another philosophy. There's a lot of different dynamics that women face or anybody face, and this is men and women. And there is different dynamics perhaps in particular that women face. So how would women here in this audience and everywhere else, how can they navigate their careers? And there's also a mystique about the CEO role. The CEO at the C-level has a mystique about it. And it takes that extra level of everything, right? It's outcomes, it's people leadership. And I personally believe in meritocracy of skills to people leadership for the results, strategies, and the whole spectrum. So what is your career advice for the women in this audience?
Great. Well, and by the way, I'd love to come back sometime because I think we could have a whole session on this because I have such an interesting, sort of path how I got here. And I did what I saw Diane put in the chat. This really is this is the only group that I accepted an outside invitation for because I do believe you're a really important group and I wanted to be here. So on the career side, maybe just a few things. So one is be ambitious. And I know that's a term that people sometimes like, oh, ambitious, and especially with women, but you need to aspire to what you want to do, right? And at the same time, you cannot get any place you want to go unless you can create value. So lots of women will say like, how do I get a sponsor? And how do I do this? It's like, well, first of all, always start with, seeking people out that can help you create more value. If you ask someone, I want to be a sponsor, like chances are, especially if they don't know you, they're going to say no. If you ask someone and you say, look, I really need to become a better communicator. I need to understand technology better. I need to do these in order to do my job. And you are really good at it. Will you help me? Most people will say yes, and they'll be flattered and they'll be honored. And that is how you then create sponsors and more people who know. So focus relentlessly on value. And then be realistic, right? If you want to get to, like when I was, the CEO of Accenture talked to me about, one day I went to a meeting with him. I was the general counsel. At the end of the meeting, he said, I think you could run this place someday, but you'd have to go do something else first, right? And that's because you couldn't go from GC to CEO at Accenture. You had to run something. So you have to know what, now, by the way, I had no aspiration at the time to be CEO because I'd come from the outside. And, the most remarkable thing about me being CEO is not that I'm a woman, it's that I'm the first time we've had a CEO that didn't start straight out of college, right? So I didn't even know I could aspire to because I didn't think Accenture would ever change in that way. But whatever you aspire, understanding like what are the skills and what are the roles, right? Because I could have aspired all I wanted to be the CEO of Accenture, but the reality is I had to go do something else first, right? And so understanding that then prepares you. So, well, how do you get to that job, right? And so I think that's really important. And then the last thing I just want to leave you with, because I know you have to keep on time. I'm just going to say that the one thing that inspires me to this day is there's a sign in my mudroom that my husband hung. It's really ugly and it's incredibly impactful to me. He did it about 2 years ahead of me becoming CEO over my objections because it's really ugly. And it says, if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough. If your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough. So as you think about your career, as you think about how you lead your part of the company, I think about this every day. If my strategy doesn't make me really uncomfortable, then I am not pushing Accenture enough. And so I would just say to you that, if you're feeling nervous about something, that means you're doing exactly what you need to do. And don't mistake this fear of like, oh, wait a minute, this is really hard. I'm not sure if I'm going to success, for meaning that you're not prepared. It means you're doing and you're reaching. And so I hope all of you dream big because we need you to dream big. So thank you so much for having me.
We needed to hear that. Dream big. And even though it's discomfort to continue to dream big, we really need to hear that. Julie, it has been such a blessing to have you to kick us off, International Women's Day. We would love to dialogue with you some more on your career It is an honor that this is the only engagement that you would have today, and we thank you for that. So please join me in a virtual round of applause to thank Julie. And with that, we will tee up our next topic. So
Thank you for
over to
having me.
Thank you. Take care, Julie. We'll now pass it on to our Careers Committee with Marina Bellini and Mamta Chamarthi.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. I'm sure you all feel as lifted, as empowered, as celebrated as I do after this amazing talk. And also happy to know that we have Julie as a partner in the Careers Committee moving forward, as she just offered. What is this group about that I'm very proud to lead together with Mamta is what I'm going to talk in the next couple of slides. But before that, a quick introduction from my side. I am Marina Bellini. I am the newly appointed COO of Bank Itaú, making the transition a career of years of CIDO roles in PepsiCo Latin America, AB InBev and BAT into a CXO role. And of course, T200 has played a very, very important role on helping me making this transition and moving forward. So I'm here, to give back always to this group and this growing group that we all want to support. Having that in mind, we decided to create, and looks like ages ago from the amount of work that has been done by this amazing group of people, the Careers Committee. We decided to put it up in November last year, and it's impressive what powerful ladies can do to help each other on showing the art of the possible, to the point of dreaming big on each one's careers and helping each other on making this possible. So what is it that this group is ready to do and already progressing for all our members? If we go to the next slide, we set up a journey by talking to many of you, and if other ideas are out there, please send them to Mamta and myself, how people think that we could better help them managing their career and achieving their looking like impossible, but definitely not impossible dreams. We want to bring knowledge to career chats. We want to be bringing more and more job opportunities. And moving forward, as we establish the first deliverables of the committee, we want to revamp the mentorship program, recruitment partnerships, and educational content. And I think that's what T200 is about, is us giving to each other on creating this amazing source of networking, this amazing source of knowledge that help us manage and deliver our careers while we help to lift others. And I will hand over to Mamta so she can talk a little bit about what is next in the pipeline and how can you all help on making this a very strong delivery to our members.
Thank you, Marina. I'm Mamta Chamarthi. I'm the Chief Business Growth Officer for Software Experience at Stellantis. And wow, I think over the number of years, we as T200, we've come a very, very long way. So this is all about us as women empowering each other and lifting each other up. And for that, this is something that we've created as a structured initiative. On a monthly basis, we bring thought leaders and share how they're navigating their careers, just like what we heard from Julie Sweet. They share how they navigated their careers with the T200 women, how they exited their comfort zone. We've just had a discussion with James Dallas, who shared a board's perspective on the CIO or a CDIO or a CTO role. Next up in March, we have Laszlo Kishanti, who is the CEO of an automotive autonomous vehicle startup called AI Motive, and how artificial intelligence is driving autonomous vehicles. And he himself, he started his career as a journalist and then became a venture capitalist. And now he is a startup CEO. And so he's going to tell us how we can explore various career paths and dream of huge things. And I think he probably also took what Julie was talking about, that his dreams probably did not scare him, that he was able to achieve these. So these are the kind of topics that we are bringing every month until June, or even for the rest of the years. Rest of the year, we have such great speakers that we are bringing to you. So what can you do? If we can go to the next slide. So what can you do? You can join our career chats that we are offering on a monthly basis. We are bringing such great speakers. So all you do have to attend these sessions so you can learn from them. Be a guest speaker or connect us to one. Yesterday, I was speaking to the ex-governor of the state of Michigan, and he wanted to come and speak. I think many of the folks that are around T200 have a fear of missing out, and they want to join this movement. So if you can be a guest speaker, be one, or connect us with one. Share job opportunities and open roles. Just as a metric, we have about more than 24 CXO positions that have been posted since the beginning of the year. More than 30 technology leadership positions that have been posted in the Lift Plus and the Lift groups. Be a mentor, be a mentee, pay it forward, pay it back. So we have 13 mentor and mentee pairs. And we have one of our star women that's going to give us a testimonial. So I want to introduce Ebony Love, the Director of Cybersecurity at McDonald's. She's going to share her experience. She's going to share her story and how T200 is having an impact on her.
Great. Thank you, Mamta and Suja, and the entire T200 community for hosting this event for International Women's Day and inviting me to share my story. When I first joined T200, I have to admit I was not very active. I wasn't sure how I would benefit from being part of the organization or what I could personally contribute. That all changed in October when a director level role opened within my department and I wanted to apply. I was confident that I could do the job, but I didn't feel at all ready to be a senior level candidate, and I wasn't sure where to turn. And that's when Wendy Rossbach reached out to me and encouraged me to contact the T200 community for help. Shortly after I posted in the Slack community, Darlene Taylor raised her hand and volunteered to spend weekend time with me to scrub my resume and get it ready for my application. Once I was selected to interview, even more women stepped in to help me. Marina Bellini and Mignona Cote worked with me to refine my brand, conduct mock interviews, cheerlead, and encourage me through the grueling rounds of interviews. I've never had so much support from senior leaders as I've had through this process. And that was a really powerful experience for me. And it showed me that T200 has an important purpose to serve in helping women advance in technology. It led me to look for opportunities where I could make an impact on women's careers and give back to others. Now I'm the one raising my hand to help other LIFT members. And as part of the careers committee, I write articles based on our monthly webinars to share across social media. I hope in this way we can reach more women and encourage them to be part of this organization. And by the way, I did get the promotion.
Well, congratulations, Ebony. This is such a powerful testimonial. And for all of you on the call, this is exactly what it is T200 is striving to achieve. And for many of you that may not know, to date, we have been a 100% volunteer, no fee, and rapidly growing community. We found ourselves last year at this amazing inflection point, where, as many of you know, with startups, there's a certain way that you manage the business until you hit this inflection point of scale. And then you realize you have to start doing something differently. And doing something differently for us was investing in partnerships and fundraising. Quite frankly, that's the wind in our sails that will help this organization take the impact that we're creating to the next level. We're very proud to share that with a mighty team of 4 people, including Suja, myself, Sushma Punaru, and Vishaka Radia, we worked very late in the year last year, launched a campaign in December, and raised over $80,000, exceeding our goal. And for the year, we raised over $113,000 in the second half of the year as an MVP on our journey. I would be remiss in not thanking our early sponsors and partners for helping us out with software in kind, services in kind, event space in kind, and financial contributions. In addition, we're very excited to announce the launch of our first MVP partnership with Deloitte. Our plan is to apply the lessons we learned from making this a quality engagement towards thoughtfully staging the launch of several more yet this year for those of you that would be interested in partnering with us. And our goal is to make sure that through our partnerships, we address wide-ranging needs of our community, from those very seasoned CXOs and board members to those early in career. And for those of you that don't know, while I'm no longer an operating CIO, my past as a CIO for Workday and Amgen, I was able to build on that experience to become a board member and technology advisor. So this community is still very important to me. At this point, I'm delighted to turn the floor over to Anjali Sheikh of Deloitte Consulting so she can give us a brief update on the partnership we're announcing today.
Thank you so much, Diana. Happy International Women's Day, everyone. Thank you so much for having me today and a number of other Deloitte Women in Tech here with you today to celebrate this great day for all of us women in tech. Like Diana said, I am Anjali Sheikh. I co-lead the program known as Deloitte CIO program with Lou DiLorenzo, who is also on the line with us, and someone who I personally consider a mentor and an ally. And a big shout out to all the other men with us today, because allyship is so critical in creating meaningful paths and opportunities for women. When Wafa approached us about the board partnership strategy, one, we're really excited because, as we all know, it takes a village, and it was an easy, resounding yes from Lou and myself to figure out how we can use the CIO program offerings that Deloitte offers to really be a conduit to getting access for T200 members, spanning a number of different opportunities. So everything from career coaching to tech leadership development, brand building, and peer-to-peer networking, as well as mentorship. So some of the highlights outlined on the slide here that you're seeing are our evolving thinking on our partnership, and a few things really that I want to call out as immediate opportunities is our investment in our Next Gen CIO Academy. And I see a number of familiar faces on the line that have been participants in this program in the past, as well as our sponsorship with the Forbes CIO Summit, where we're going to give access to a few members to join us at that summit in April, as well as upcoming roundtables to network and meet other women in tech in both Atlanta and DC coming up here in the next few weeks. So again, thank you so much for the opportunity to be the MVP partner, Wafa. I look forward to working with you and the rest of the board as we shape up more opportunities. And again, happy International Women's Day.
Thank you so much, Anjali. We know that when women soar, companies thrive and achieve more. We know Deloitte's a very big partner in helping us to make that happen. We look forward to working with you and your team as well. For those of you that are on the line and have an interest in learning more about how you can help us grow and scale the impact of our community and programs, please don't hesitate to reach out to us at T200foundation@t200.org. We continue to look for in-kind sponsors and financial sponsors to support us in 2023. We've built a foundation now that will allow us to set an ambitious goal at $300,000, which we know we won't meet just with our member contributions, despite the fact that they find so much value in this community. If you'd like to donate, we also have a donate opportunity on our T200 website, so please feel free to visit the website there. And with that, I'd like to turn the floor back over to Suja to announce our award winners.
Fabulous work. I would like to congratulate both the Careers Committee as well as the fundraising and partnerships, the Business Development Committee as well. Fabulous work, you all. And I am thrilled to share our inaugural awards. So we talked about it and we said, there are so many amazing women here. And what can we do to spotlight some of these women? Of course, Ebony is a fabulous spotlight, but in addition, we also said, why don't we put together a nomination process and then and recognize some key women? We focused on two key things. Business results are very important to us. We think when we play our roles, a remit of what we deliver, how we deliver, those are crucial. Innovation, people leadership, all of those are crucial. We also focused on one additional dimension, which is what are the women doing to develop others? I think it's there are lots of sayings and cliches around this. If you catch the elevator to go up, make sure you set it down, give a hand, lift others up. So we also look for impact to the community and developing others. So we look at these women in both those categories, and we are absolutely thrilled today to celebrate and share with you two people who are going to win the first ever T200 awards. So if we go to the next slide, I am thrilled and proud to recognize Natasha Irani for the Innovation Award. She's a Senior Director of IT at HashiCorp, and she demonstrates exemplary leadership in implementing a functional revenue stream through complex consumption-based building. She was called upon to lead a build versus buy decision. She successfully navigated a stalemate on this strategy, brought together her stakeholders, go-to-market, engineering, different departments had to be brought together. She built a build over buy model and set clear steps for evaluating the model's outlining decision makers. She also crafted a vendor stability model and built a corporate engineering function. Natasha's company has successfully launched a cloud product with consumption-based billing. She has built a go-to-market system, corporate engineering organization with next tier leaders. Natasha, we are super proud of what you've done, both at your company as well as the impact that you're creating with T200. Super congratulations, Natasha. And then I would like to go to the next award. I'm once again very thrilled, and it's my pleasure to recognize Wendy Ross Block as the recipient of the Impact Award for the T200 organization. Wendy has demonstrated highly positive impact as a leader in the organization. And she led a transformation program. So Wendy, I am also honored that I hired Wendy into her most recent role at Kimberly-Clark under me. So I am double thrilled to see her. She was a superb business unit CIO at Kimberly-Clark. She led transformation programs. She drove innovation in many different areas of Kimberly-Clark. And in addition to that, at T200, she has demonstrated outstanding results, dedication, commitment to developing others. They've been invaluable in our flagship summit organization in 2022, our flagship event for International Women's Day, inspiring and empowering tech professionals across the industry. She also played a critical role in streamlining the membership process and database. I mean, we all do this work. A lot of this work is done through the sweat of all of us, and she played a fantastic role. Wendy's impact extends beyond her outstanding work results, and she actively mentors and coaches professionals across the industry on people leadership. Congratulations, Wendy. Please join me in congratulating Natasha and Wendy Ross Block. Thank you, ladies. And I will pass on to the next committee update to Angela and to Marina. Marina, Angela, can you unmute and speak?
Got it. Thank you so much for allowing me to unmute. I appreciate the opportunity to tell you a little bit about what's happening in the Engagement Committee. I am Angela Yoakum. I am the Chief Transformation and Digital Officer at Novant Health. I am also the General Manager and COO at Novant Health Enterprises. And I have the pleasure of serving on the T200 board and with Marina Bellini, the co-chair of the Engagement Committee. We have historically, as you've picked up as part of this conversation, had a very robust engagement across our sizable membership in both T200, what we call T200 Prime and T200 Lift. And if, for those of you who are members and have had an opportunity to join in conversation as part of our Slack environments, you feel that engagement and you feel that energy. In 2023, we've decided that, it might make sense to put some constructs in place to allow for easier engagement across 3 areas that we consider to be particularly high value. The first is the women in top job space. We need more strong women in big roles. So let's leverage our momentum in this space and some of the activity we've seen in our exec and board ops channel on Slack to carry this forward and actually achieve many more top job appointments. We've had, I think it's a half a dozen or perhaps more now in our membership from T200 Lift move into the top roles in their respective companies just in the past 12 months. So that's been fantastic. The second stream of activity that we're focused on in the engagement space is the social network presence. So I had a friend who used to say, you know, it's not whom you know, it's who knows you. We need our T200 members working to strengthen our brand promise on social media. So let's make sure people know T200 is a force for good. And then the last piece, and where I'll spend a little bit more time, is we are a special tribe, and we want to make sure that our members feel it, and they feel it not just in the social media channels or in the Slack environments and in the events that are being promoted that we've seen, but also we want them to feel it in person. So we'll be promoting social events in the various regions in which we operate globally. So if you go to the next slide, I want to highlight a couple of events that are timely. You'll notice that many of these events are this week. In particular, you'll notice that our Michigan group is having an exciting dinner and event tonight. So for those of you who want to keep the International Women's Day celebration going, there's a place for you to go if you're in Michigan and feel that energy that our members bring. Please, I encourage all of you to if you see these events that are being formally structured by the networking team and you can join them, please join them. If you just want to have a bunch of fun women over to your house for drinks and dinner or just conversation or coffee, I encourage you to raise your hand and be that hostess or that host. We are an interesting crowd, and I've never failed to gain tremendous value from just 2, 3, 4 of us getting together. So with that, I will pass it back to Suja, who has been a tremendous leader of this organization, and thank you for including the engagement committee in this event today, Suja.
Angela, thank you. You've really taken the torch and the leadership in driving further engagement. We have overachieved on our time, so we may be able to take 1 or 2 questions, but I will say certainly as a part of our wrap is a call to action. Together, we need to embrace equity. And if you are a woman CXO in tech and digital and you're not in T200, please reach out. We would love to see you as a member. We will benefit from your contributions, and we are sure we will contribute to you as well. So please do join us. If you're an ally, please let us know. You heard Diana McKinsey speak about how to partner. So if you're a venture capital, private equity, you're an executive search firm, or you're media, or an events company, or an academic institution, the various personas, please reach out to us. We would love to partner with you. And you heard the various approaches in which we can partner together. And once again, this is a call to action. Let's stay together on embracing equity. So I will open up for 2 questions, if there are any. So I think most of you can unmute yourself or raise your hand and we'll see, or chat, put something on chat, and Esther and I will unmute you.
I think there is one question, Suja, from Wolfgang on how they can help post jobs directly. And the careers committee is working to create a structured way, a process, a form, so that the search firms can easily post jobs directly, either on Prime, Lyft Plus, or Lyft. Till then, you can either reach out to Marina Bellini or me, and one of us will for sure help you post the jobs.
Thank you. That's a great question. And it's a key part of our something that our women are looking for. So thank you for that question, as well as the answer, Wolfgang and Mamta. Thank you. Any other questions? We'll take one more.
Suja, we've been getting questions from people on how to join the T200 community. Do you want to talk about it?
Yes. So if you are a C-level and you are a sitting CXO, either a chief executive officer or a chief digital technology officer, chief information security officer, chief data officer, chief AI officer, you're a C-level. please reach out to one of us and I'll make it simple for you. Inquiry@t200.org will work, or you can reach out to me personally, suja@t200.org. And so that's a simple way. The C-level women need sponsorship, meaning somebody has to nominate you and a sitting member has to nominate you. So please reach out. If you're a woman in technology in the pipeline, if you can go to t200.org as a website, and the website has a self-nomination button, and you can select that, and you can self-nominate, and we will put you through the process and we'll get you inducted and onboarded. If nothing, if you don't remember anything, t200.org. Keep that in mind, and you should be able to get or ping any of us. T200 is also a page on LinkedIn, so please do follow us and connect with us through the LinkedIn site as well. So with that, we'll bring to wrap our T200 International Women's Day 2023 celebration. We had an amazing conversation with Jolie Sweet. You heard from our careers committee, you heard from our fundraising and partnership committee, you heard from our engagement committee. Together, we are better. We are better together. That is one of our hashtags. And it's so wonderful to see all our T200 colleagues on this call. We will have our annual flagship summit sometime in September. And that work is being done by our events committee. So more to come on that. Together we soar, together we thrive, together we grow together. So have a great day, you all. Thank you.